Are we free? I mean, on the one hand, most of us have the clear sense that we are. We feel free. We feel like we make all...
Real quick, he has already violated the law of determinism. Already. In the first couple of seconds of his monologue, he's violated the law of determinism. How in the world can you ask the question, are we free to choose a decision if we're not free to choose? There's not a single computer on the planet that we're aware of. Us lay persons, us, consumers. This laptop I'm using, this MacBook Pro 2018 or so, it's never going to ask the question, do I have the right to refuse what Ray tells me to do? Because it's determined to do whatever I tell it to do. It's in the environment of a air-conditioned room, and therefore it won't overheat. I determine the state of this computer outside of viruses, and of course that's someone else's free will that imposes upon my laptop. But programmed individuals, programmed beings, such as computers, iPhones, they don't ask the question, am I free to choose whether or not I obey this command that was just given by the purchaser, the owner? So the fact that humans can ask the question, am I free to choose, doesn't that automatically violate the fact that we're determined to do whatever our environment tells us? And again, we're not even into the video, and already we're having issues with this theory of determinism, is that if we're able to pause at truth statements or truth claims or questions in regards to our environment, and we're questioning things. I have my instincts. I can feel horny. I can feel hungry. But then I have a choice whether or not I act upon those impulses. Those impulses are determined. Those impulses are determined. My responses aren't. Let's keep going.
Are we free? I mean, on the one hand, most of us have the clear sense that we are. We feel free. We feel like we make all sorts of decisions that lead to both beliefs and actions that are wholly of our own choosing, like... I could do that. I had oatmeal this morning because I felt like it. This view that humans are capable of entirely free actions is known as libertarian free will. And to be clear, libertarian free will is nothing like political libertarianism. Both views get their name from the word liberty, but political libertarians are all about freedom from government intervention, while people who accept libertarian free will could be anything from political libertarians to socialists. They just think that metaphysically we can act freely. So a lot of us figure that our thoughts and actions are free, but most of us also believe that every effect has a cause, and that everything that happens now in the present is the necessary result of events that occurred in the past. This view is known as hard determinism, and many of the people watching this probably think that they believe in both things, that many of your actions are free, and that the world is governed by cause and effect. But it turns out, you can't rationally hold both views, because traditionally libertarians have defined free actions according to what's known as the principle of alternate possibilities. That might sound like a plot device for a sci-fi show, but this principle says that an action is free only if the agent, that is the person doing the thing, could have done otherwise. So
this sounds like self-awareness. How can... If we are victims of our environment, we have no control over our choices, how are we then self-aware? Consciousness. Where does consciousness come from? Biologists, and we have doctors that study anatomy, they study the human brain. You have neuroscientists that study the actual brain and how it works, the electrical impulses, neurons, what have you. But where does consciousness come from? The mind and consciousness are not the same as the actual brain. Example, you can have a breathing human on life support or otherwise on their deathbed, and they're breathing. Their body is functioning, and yet they're not conscious. They're in a coma. A coma it's so confusing to me, especially how I view people, interacting with people in comas. I'm like, bro, where's their mind at? Where's their mind at? This is why I believe in afterlife, because the body can be alive and the mind not be there. Where's the mind at? If a body can be alive in a coma and the mind's not present, the consciousness is not there, I would pause at the body can be dead and the mind not be there. Where's the mind go when the body dies? It's like the hardware. If this laptop turns off, StreamYard will continue to run. Facebook will still exist. TikTok is still there. If my phone breaks and dies and self-destructs, social media is still there. That Google is still there. They're separate. They're different. The hardware is different from the software. So when we look at humans, the creators of the hardware and software, and you look at the realities of comas, and you like people are talking to them as if they're conscious, but the consciousness is not there. Where did the consciousness go? In that moment, they're not self-aware. And you have stories of people saying like, I heard people talking to me, or I can hear people talking to me. Who knows? Who knows? But it's just intriguing that the body can still be alive and the mind not be there. How is it in this case where the principle says that an action is free only if the agent, that is the person doing the thing, could have done otherwise? That's referring to obviously having the choice. The Garden of Eden, God placed the tree of knowledge, good and evil, in the garden to give them a choice whether or not to do right or wrong. Yeah, it has to be present. If you don't have options, you're not making a choice. So in that case, why do we have so many options? As humans, why are we surrounded by options? I'm choosing to do a live stream, or I can hop in my car right now and drive to Dallas or Houston or somewhere. I could drive to the ocean and jump in right now. I can go to my roof and self-delete right now. I have the option to do so. I can go outside this house and commit capital murder. Why won't I do that? Is it because the way I was raised, my environment, the way my parents taught me, my values, my principles, the religion? Why am I not a mass murderer right now? Often when you hear this discussion of determinism, free will, they talk about the positive things, or like the things are kind of amoral. And he's going to mention like a bowl of oatmeal. Why did I eat a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast this morning? Okay, cool. That's a cool discussion, dilemma or so. But when you talk about the dark activities, murder, sexual assault, rape, theft, stealing, the fact that our president has the ability to launch nukes right now. Why are we not launching nukes? Why does he have a cabinet of people that talk to him and influence him and bring all these different options and military contingency plans, what have you? Why are we consider options before making a choice? If there is no choice, we're just hoping that we make the right. There's no way in the world we can hold somebody accountable for their actions and say, yo, murder is wrong, bro. You better do 20. Sexual assault, you're wrong. You're going to prison. You're a registered sex offender now. Don't worry about it. We got you. We gonna make sure that you feel this rest of your life. How is it we can do that to people if they are themselves victims? The victim of their environment, victims of their brain chemistry. Why can't we just give them pills and say it wasn't their fault that they killed 20 people? Let's just give them some pills and go on about a day. Nothing happened. No, we hold people accountable because we have things like premeditated murder. Which one is it? Does premeditated murder exist or doesn't it? How can we say that somebody premeditated to commit an act? Attempted murder. Were they attempting? Or it does not make sense when you think about it. When you compare the philosophy, and obviously a lot of this is theoretical, but when you look at application, when you look at the real world and say, all right, this is what we think should happen or think does happen, and you compare it to the way humans act every single day, and obviously majority doing something it's not an argument. The Nazis all thought that they were doing the right thing. They were wrong. But then again, when it comes to morality and you have the debate of good versus evil, there is no debate there if determinism is a thing. There is no good versus evil if none of us are in control of our actions. It just is. It's more so like science, that whatever is what we measure versus what we think should happen.